Comic book fans of the world are feeling the hype for the first big screen appearance of Captain Mar-Vell. The story is that of young Billy Batson, who after saying the phrase Shazam, becomes the superhero Captain Mar-Vell. Wait, what? Wrong Captain Mar-Vell. Okay, got it. Captain Mar-Vell, based on the original character by Mar-Vell Comics, who, due to a successful legal battle, is now the Captain Mar-Vell, follows the journey of Kree soldier Mar-Vell. Subtle. As he comes to Earth and has adventures as a... Excuse me? Again? How many Captain Mar-Vells are there? Okay, fine. Third time's the charm. Captain Mar-Vell features CAROL DANVERS as a Kree soldier, American fighter pilot who comes to Earth and has adventures as a superhero. The character, originally Miss Mar-Vell, adopted the name after original Mar-Vell died of cancer. After his 6 other successors failed to live up to the original's hype, Danvers took on the role and has led to great success. But those of you who aren't big comic book fans might be wondering, who is Captain Mar-Vell? What can she do? And could they not have come up with a more subtle name? Seriously, is there a Captain DC too? Luckily, us behind the screen have got you covered. Here's a rundown of all Captain Mar-Vell's abilities, from the absolutely ridiculous to the unbelievably awesome. Let's dig in. Powers via split personality. CAROL Danvers was originally a career woman. She was in the military and even NASA, but after a series of supervillain encounters, her career was cut short. Luckily for her, one of these encounters merged her DNA with Kree DNA, and effectively made her a superhero. Sort of. Danvers for a good time wasn't aware that she was a superhero. The Miss Mar-Vell character was a dual personality. She'd see danger and snap into her superhero form, and then wake up as if she had a blackout. Basically a simpler version of the Horde from Split. While this was eventually resolved, it was a strange start to her career. The movie seems to be doing a similar storyline in that Captain Mar-Vell apparently has no memory of her life as CAROL Danvers. They sort of switched around there. Mohawk helmet. Once CAROL finally takes on the mantle of Captain Mar-Vell, her style gets a major upgrade. Aside from the now iconic suit that she is rocking in her movie trailer, CAROL gets an awesome helmet. It covers just enough of her hair so she'll have this awesome mohawk from time to time. She can summit the helmet at will just in case she ever wants to look extra awesome. Does it serve a purpose? No. Does it look awesome? Absolutely. Is looking good a superpower? You bet it is. Reporting skills. CAROL Danvers was a bit of a unique character for her time. A military woman who was driven by her career was a cool thing to see in the 60s and 70s. That's why it was a bit disappointing when she became a lot more the average female portrayal in comics. Lois Lane kind of blazed the trail for female reporters in comics. Other characters like Iris West and Vicky Vale also work in the news biz. CAROL joined their ranks briefly when she was an editor for the Daily Bugle. Yes, the same Daily Bugle that has J. Jonah Jameson. This job didn't last, though, as CAROL moved on to more serious superheroics with the Avengers. While it's unlikely that they'll go this route for the movies, it would be awesome to see Brie Larson square off against J.K. Simmons' J. Jonah Jameson. Fascist pre-crime fighting. Captain Mar-Vell went a little nutty in the infamous Civil War II storyline. She befriended an Inhuman named Ulysses who claimed to see the future. Indirectly using his powers, CAROL takes out people who might commit crimes in the future. That's right, CAROL goes full Minority Report. Unfortunately, this was one Tom Cruise movie she missed. Although she's almost definitely a Top Gun fan. What pilot isn't? If she'd seen it, she would have realized that pre-crime business is a fool's gambit. It just led to the world nearly being completely taken over by Hydra. No big deal. Her cosmic womb. Avengers number 200 decided that celebrating its big milestone with a big superhero battle would be ridiculous. Instead, they opted for a story where CAROL Danvers gives birth to her own love interest. We'll give you a moment to get all your oohs out now. The comic begins with a pregnant Miss Mar-Vell trying to figure out how she was pregnant. She doesn't have long to wait, though, as her pregnancy only lasts a few months. She gives birth, and the baby quickly grows into a man named Marcus. He explains that he had wooed her and impregnated her with himself so he could now live in a new body. After Marcus explains that he needed a powerful woman like Miss Mar-Vell in order to be reborn, he and Miss Mar-Vell walk off into the sunset with the Avengers wishing her luck. Was this written by George R.R. Martin? Binary. Luckily, there was one comic creator who had a big problem with that storyline. X-Men writer Chris Claremont quickly killed Marcus off and showed a CAROL Danvers angry about what happened to her. The mutant Rogue stole all of her powers and memories in a big-time superhero-supervillain fight with the Avengers. Her memories are restored by Professor X, but she then gets experimented on by an evil alien race. Why? Because, look, some aliens are just evil, okay? Have you never seen Independence Day? They're basically like that. This does bring back her powers, though, with a big boost. She can now generate the power of a star. Just like that, our girl is back in action. Ace pilot. Before she even became a superhero, CAROL had special abilities of her own. She was known to be a great fighter pilot. Female representation of fighter pilots has always been pretty lacking. Top Gun made it look like the biggest boys' club in the military. That's right, I snuck in 2 Top Gun references. CAROL being a pilot is a pretty cool origin that sets her apart from a lot of her contemporaries. This is a pretty awesome skill that could keep CAROL in the superhero biz, even if she lost her powers. If Hawkeye can be a superhero with a bow and arrow, CAROL can definitely be one by flying a Quinjet. Overcoming alcoholism. Being a superhero isn't all about flying through the air or punching out bad guys. Sometimes it's just about proving the strength of the human spirit. After her binary identity got left behind, CAROL was briefly known as Warbird. Unfortunately, it was during this time that CAROL became an alcoholic. It became so bad that she was suspended from the Avengers. If handling alcoholism and potentially inspiring people to do the same isn't super heroic, what is? Resistant to toxins. One of the minor benefits to CAROL's Kree human anatomy is that she is immune to most poisons or other toxins. Quite a few Marvel characters use poisons, so this can come in handy. What is strange, though, is that CAROL seems to have no problem drinking. Captain America can't physically be drunk due to how perfectly his body works. Somehow, CAROL can't be poisoned by a high-grade chemical, but she can be affected by a low-grade form of alcohol. 7th sense, but no 6th? One of CAROL's handy little powers comes in the form of her 7th sense. This allows her limited precognitive abilities, giving her the power to sense danger. It's pretty much Spidey sense, which comes in handy. What is weird is that no mention is made of her 6th sense. Do the Kree just skip over 6? Andy, what is people? I guess we'll find out if Bruce Willis starts showing up in the movie to offer her ghostly therapy sessions. Can breathe in space. As a former worker at NASA, it's hard to imagine that CAROL Danvers doesn't regularly geek out about the fact that she can exist in the vacuum of space without a spacesuit. Imagining the journey CAROL has gone through from her military career through her NASA career and into being a space-traveling superhero makes every panel of her flying through space that much more special. Faster than sound flight. If it's cool that a former NASA employee gets the ability to exist in space, it's even cooler when you take her flight into account. This was a woman who spent a good portion of her adult life flying through the air in a cockpit. It's hard to imagine the pure splendor she must have every day as she's racing through the air. She can even fly at faster speeds than the planes she used to fly. It's doubtful that Danvers will take a moment to enjoy her flying, considering the fact she believes she's a Kree soldier and doesn't remember her pilot days. Super strength. The most common power for superheroes is probably super strength. CAROL has this one in spades too. It might seem pretty basic, but it allows her to tango with people like the Hulk or put a dent in Tony Stark's metal face. Skrulls can take quite a walloping, even the ones disguised as old ladies. Trailers spoil all the good old lady fights nowadays. Super friend. The Marvel Universe is filled with friends who kinda want to punch each other. While Captain Mar-Vell does have a habit of joining in on the superhero punch fests, see Civil War II, she is also known for her more compassionate side. She's been shown bonding with Captain America. The X-Men, Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the British superhero team Excalibur all have featured CAROL in meaty recurring roles that show her bonding with various characters in the universe. Maybe she can act as the moderator for the Tony Stark-Steve Rogers reunion on the way. Super feminist. If being a feminist in a time when women were fighting for rights can be considered as a superpower, and if you know your history on the subject, you know how close it is, then CAROL Danvers is one of the most powerful in the comics pantheon. While her time at the Daily Bugle was a bit of a letdown considering how deeply it entrenched her with the common female tropes of the period, it did give her a place to sound off her political views. She was a whistleblower and a progressive editor who served as a sharp contrast to J. Jonah Jameson. Super mentor. Her strong morals may inspire millions of fans, but they have also inspired within her own universe. In fact, she is the driving force behind one of the freshest faces in the current Marvel lineup. Kamala Khan is a Pakistani teenager who gains the abilities to stretch and shift her body's form. She's basically a spunkier Elastigirl. The Kree performed experiments on human beings. So many of them have latent Kree DNA without even knowing it. These genes can reveal themselves after something called teragenesis, which is like a superhero bar mitzvah of sorts. If you want to know more, go check out the ABC show in Hugh. You know what? Maybe just watch the 2nd and 3rd seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Seriously, don't watch Inhumans. After she sees Captain Mar-Vell save people, she takes on CAROL's old name, Ms. Mar-Vell. The character has proven to be a huge success. She's become an inspiration all on her own as the first Muslim superhero to have a major Marvel solo series. Energy absorption. Captain Mar-Vell's energy absorption power is probably one of her most impressive abilities. Her ability to absorb and manipulate energy gives her a host of other powers. Her flight comes from this power. She can also manipulate molecules in such a way that makes changes to her suit. Captain Mar-Vell just isn't Captain Mar-Vell if she isn't basically making herself into one giant battery. Energy blasts. Captain Mar-Vell's energy blasts are just synonymous with the character. If Green Lantern is known for creating green energy constructs and Iron Man is known for his high-tech hand beams, CAROL is known for firing red-hot blasts of energy from her fists. While she is never one to shy away from fisticuffs, what kind of superhero would she be if she did? Her energy blasts remain her trademark form of combat. They can range from the mildly powerful to the unbelievably lethal. This is a woman who at one point could conjure the energy of a star. Well, that about does it. What are your favorite Captain Marvel powers? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to give the video a like and hit subscribe for more behind the screen hits to come.